Bunraku, the art of the Japanese puppet theatre, with photographs by Hiroshi Kaneko, published in 1965 by Kodansha International. Scenes from selected plays. Here, Kanadehon Chûshingura. Act 1. Verification of the helmets. The scene is the Hachiman Shrine in Kamakura. Tadayoshi, the deputy of the shogun, is to offer the helmet of the celebrated warrior Nitta Yoshisada to the shrine, but only Lady Kaoyo, the wife of Enya Hangan, can identify which of the 47 helmets belong to Yoshisada. Kaoyo, second from the left, is ushered into the presence of Tadayoshi, seated above, by a shrine attendant. To the right is the box containing the helmets. Behind it sits an attendant, and to his right the villainous Ko no Moronao. Once Kaoyo has identified the helmet, all the officials leave except for Moronao, who detains Kaoyo. He slips a letter, obviously a declaration of love, into her sleeve. She lets it fall, unwilling to acknowledge his advances. Act 3. Before Tadayoshi's palace in Kamakura. Moronao has made an enemy not only of Enya Hangan, but of Wakanosuke, a youthful daimyo. The latter's advisor, Kakogawa Honzo, determined to save his master from embarrassment at Moronao's hands, sends a flattering letter together with lavish presents. Sagisaka Bannai, Moronao's foolish henchman, reads the list of presents, while Honzo watches on to the far left. Disturbance in the palace. Enya Hangan has failed to offer Moronao the expected presents. His wife, moreover, has rejected Moronao's advances. Moronao vents his annoyance by taunting Hangan so provocatively that the latter draws his sword and wounds Moronao. Meanwhile, at the rear gate of the palace, Hangan's retainer Hayano Kampe, after accompanying his master to the palace, is dallying with Okaru, the maid of Lady Kaoyo. Hearing noises from within the palace, he rushes up to the back gate and learns of Hangan's attack on Moronao. Kampe, feeling that he is to blame for his master's predicament, puts his hand on his sword, resolved to make amends by killing himself, but Okaru stops him. As Kampe and Okaru prepare to leave, Bannai, who has designs on Okaru, rushes up with his men. They surround Kampe, intending to capture and kill him, but Kampe fends off their attack and makes his escape with Okaru. Act 4. Enya Hangan's residence. Kaoyo, hoping to comfort her husband, arranges cherry blossoms in a vase. Hara Goemon and Ono Kudayu, two retainers, arrive. Kudayu blames Goemon for having incurred Moronao's enmity by failing to offer adequate presents. Hangan's suicide. Ishido Umanojo, an envoy from the shogun, displays to Enya Hangan the written command that Hangan must forfeit his domains and commit seppuku, a ritual disembowelment, because of his unseemly actions in the palace. Hangan, expecting all along a sentence of death, has prepared for seppuku by wearing white robes under his outer garments. He asks his chief retainer, Oboshi Yonoski, attend him, but Yonoski has not yet arrived. Hangan decides he cannot wait any longer. He takes his dagger in hand and readies himself to plunge it into his abdomen. Just at the last moment, Yonosuke rushes up. With a final injunction to Yonosuke to avenge his death, Hangan takes the dagger from his abdomen and cuts his throat. Yonosuke, lifting up the blood-stained weapon, bows before it. Surrender of the castle. Yonosuke, after his return to Hangan's castle at Ako, debates with the other retainers what steps should be taken next. In the end, he decides to surrender the castle intact to the government forces, rather than die in an attempt to defend it, for he has promised to avenge Hangan. Before leaving the castle, he takes a last look at the familiar surroundings. Act 5. The Man in the Raincloak. Hayano Kampe has been reduced to earning his living as a hunter for his indiscretion in having failed to attend Hangan during the fateful meeting with Moronao. One rainy night he encounters a traveller on the road who proves to be Senzaki Yagoro, a retainer loyal to Yonoski. Yagoro is struck by Kampei's devotion to their late master and reveals that he is collecting funds for a monument to honor Hangan. The two shots. The farmer Yoichibe, having sold his daughter to a Gion brothel in order to raise money for Kampei, is returning with a wallet containing 50 ryo in gold when he is set upon by Ono Sadakuro, who kills him and takes the money, despite Yoichibe's pleas. Sadakuro, however, is immediately afterwards killed by shots from Kampei's gun. Kampei had missed a wild boar and shot Sadakuro by mistake. He discovers the wallet and takes it. Act 6. Okaru sold as a prostitute. During Yoichibe's absence, Ichimonjiya, the master of a Gion brothel, comes to fetch Okaru. When Kampei returns, Ichimonjiya tells him that he gave Yoichibe a wallet made of the same material as his own kimono. Kampei realizes that this is the same wallet he took from the corpse and supposes that he killed his father-in-law. He helplessly allows his wife Okaru to be taken away by Ichimonjiya. Kampei's suicide. Hunters bring back Yoichibe's body. Okaru's mother becomes suspicious when she notices no sign of surprise on Kampei's face. She finds the blood-stained wallet and accuses him of the murder. Hara Goemon and Senzaki Yaguro arrive to return the money Kampei has offered, saying that it is unacceptable from such a person. Learning of his supposed crime, they menace him. Kampei, after pleading his innocence of deliberate murder, plunges his dagger into his abdomen. Act 7. The Ichikiri Tea House in Gion. Yonoski spends his days in riotous pleasures at the Ichikiri tea house in order to deceive Moronao's followers into thinking that he has abandoned all plans of revenge. Two of Hangan's retainers bring him a letter from Lady Kaoyo, but he pretends to be too drunk to read it. The treacherous Ono Kurayu tests Yonoski, but still not satisfied of his innocence, hides under the porch so as to eavesdrop. In the next building, Okaru, now a prostitute, seeing Yonoski read a letter once he is alone, uses her mirror to read it too, as Kurayu eagerly scans the ends of the long scroll. Yonoski, realizing that Okaru has read Kaoyo's letter, which discloses the existence of a plot to avenge Hangan's death, pretends to be desirous of buying out Okaru's contract and marrying her. Okaru's brother Haemon arrives. Learning from Okaru that Yonoski plans to marry her, he is enraged at this new proof of Yonoski's corruption. When, however, he hears about the letter, he understands Yonoski's real intent and decides to kill Okaru in order to preserve the secret. She agrees and stoops to take up Haemon's sword, but Yonoski, impressed by their loyalty, stops them. Act 8. The Bride's Journey. Tonase, the wife of Kakogawa Honzo, accompanies their daughter Konami along the Tokaido to Yamashina, where, in keeping with the long-standing agreement, the girl is to marry Yonoski's son, Rikiya. Act 9. Yonoski's house in Yamashina. When Tonase and Konami arrive in Yamashina, they are informed by Yonoski's wife Oishi that the marriage must not take place. She asserts that Kakogawa Honzo, by fawning on Moronao, had disgraced himself as a samurai. Tonase decides that she must kill Konami and then herself, since she cannot return to Honzo after so disastrous a failure. She raises her sword to kill Konami, but just at that moment Oishi intervenes. Oishi agrees to the marriage providing that Honzo's head is offered on a stand. Honzo, who has overheard the conversation, charges in and, after insulting and threatening Oishi, is felled with a spear by her son Rikiya. Honzo reveals then that he deliberately sought to be killed so that the family's resentment would be dispelled. Before he dies, he presents them with a map of Mononao's mansion. Act 11. The Attack. Oboshi Yonosuke and his men, having successfully carried out their attack on Moronao, leave for the temple where Enya Hangan is buried to offer Moronao's head. Owari.